So, first panel, fireside chat, we call it like that because it is. It's fire started like today when in the registration. So basically, today you have a chance to listen to two great persons, great professionals, and great storytellers, I need to say. So basically, today with us we have Marko Jevremovic, who is head of data and AI of Game Tuner, powered by Algebra AI, and also that is a spin-off company of Two Desperados. That's okay to say? Yes. Okay. And the second, our second panelist is Nikola Stojanovic, managing director of the Wargaming. Our first panel is going to be regarding why do gaming companies fail to utilize analytics fully in their businesses. Why is this topic important? Well, basically, when we talk about gaming, we all the time see much, let's say, very, very modern platforms, modern technology and everything else. But sometimes when we need to go to back to the basics, let's say, and to use analytics, not only in creating, I don't know, trying to create churn or something like that, and everybody's talking about that, we have situation that we need to utilize analytics not only in that part but in the whole organization as well. And being said that, sometimes we have a problem. So basically, for the start, I would just like to give you just a few words, and to start with, let's say a little bit differently. Marko, can you just give us what is your background in analytics in gaming, and what can you say for the intro talk about yourself additionally?
Thanks for the lovely intro. I hope we will entertain with good storytelling. So let's see. So I think now I have a full decade in analytics in gaming, and almost 3 decades in gaming. So I kind of started early playing games. It was early for that time. I started in Nordius 10 years ago. I was there for 9 years, worked on all kinds of things data related, really. So it was always within this domain of data science, but I will talk about that later. It can be a very, very big umbrella term for all kinds of things, especially in gaming. Then I moved to Desperados about a year ago. And now by, let's say, some chance, or I don't know how to say it, I'm in an early stage startup that's building a tool to kind of solve some of the problems, hopefully many of them, in gaming analytics in first place.
Okay, thank you. Nikola, your managing experience is in various industries. Before being a managing director of Wargaming, you were managing director of Grid Dynamics, which is very known for the cross-industry solution. So basically, my question to you is, what organization may gain from implementing analytics in their core businesses?
Okay, hello everyone. Thanks for hosting us here. Sorry for this microphone thing. It's not meant for the guys with such head, I guess. So yeah, I mean, like, I had the various, experiences from, in various companies, starting as a developer, not that much in data science, but, working a lot with data itself, and, ending up with a gaming company like Wargaming. I can tell you that actually, there is so much thing that actually data analytics and actually proper collection, processing, and analysis of the data can bring to the companies that actually very often they are not even aware aware of it, and actually they don't get it. So in the previous company, as servicing our clients, we had this mission actually to bring all the wellness of proper data usage to the clients, and to actually, you know, empower them to use them properly and to actually use full power of it. And you know, like what it can bring to the companies and the project, it's, you know, like not just about companies and the project, but it can shape the industry completely in a different way. We are here on the, you know, like gamers or whatever. You know, like imagine how this is my guys from Gaminig. So how it shaped the gaming industry, it's really amazing. You know, like I guess every one of you remember first computer and, you know, first games played. You know, like for me it was Commodore 64, and I
believe that many of you wasn't born, so
yeah, I mean, like
we are becoming a Gen Z.
Yeah, but nice
Back
thing
in the
about
day on Commodore 64, we had 64 kilobytes and it was enough. It was big data for us.
Wow, it was like quite enough for everything. But the thing is, my impression at that time was everything is, you know, free to play. You know, like you just have nice guys on playing some weird sound on the radio. You just record it and playing game. Actually, it was not that kind of true at the moment, because, you know, it wasn't free games. We were just, it's like a bit illegal, you know, but I was just 6 years old, didn't know it, but, you know, like, but
from the little.
Yeah, so, but the thing is, you know, like, you know, then you grow up and see, you know, like, okay, you have to be good for a couple of months to save some money, to get from parents, to buy some game, you know, like, and then become, you know, like pay 50, 60 bucks and get it, and then you figure out it's quite boring one. And, oh, yeah, you need to be good for another couple of months to buy another one. And right now you see all the good games are, you know, free to play. And what actually is the main pillar of it is actually data analytics. Without data analytics, you wouldn't be able to actually have free to play games. You would be like, you know, like, let me quote my Victor, who is like the owner of the Wargaming. He said, like, our players are both in the same time our most important clients and the biggest investors. And if you imagine that you have millions of players, how you would be able to treat someone as a VIP client if you don't have proper data about him, about his habits, about his usages, and, you know, how he could be your main investor if you don't, you know, like, know what to offer him on time and everything. So basically, without proper analytics, you know, like, I really don't think that actually we'll be there. Right.
What is your thinking about this? Is a very interesting sentence. What is your thinking? Because, like I said, you have like a multi gaming company experience about this sentence that your clients, your basically people who play your games are the biggest investors and biggest clients. Is that something that every gaming company should strive to do so, or you think there is something also differently about it?
Well, like what?
I don't know. In terms of like, in terms of business model, like, this should be like the something that every game company should strive for. That the player should be the biggest investor basically inside of the gaming companies.
Yes. Well, in mobile gaming, the dominant model is free to play, and it's a very interesting model which wreaks havoc on data, basically, because only a few % of your players will buy anything in the game, and then on those few % you get Pareto distribution, and like 20% of a few % of players bring you almost all the money. So it's amazing. I mean, most of people start getting into data through, I don't know, learning about normal distribution. I never saw normal distribution in this data. So whatever humans produce, it's never a normal distribution. So that's very interesting to point, because it has many consequences in everything, analytics, in whatever. So, but what's important, even people who do not pay, they're very important. This will sound maybe horrible, but it's not more horrible than human resources when you think about that. So other people are kind of content, you know. So they in multiplayer games especially, like you want to have people playing your games, it becomes more interesting. And the whole point is, I mean, we are in a show business, like people should be entertained. So, you know, if they're entertained, they will talk about that and bring more people into your game, and some of them might pay, etc. So it's, you know, players are very important. It's without saying. Unfortunately, and I need to talk about this, there's this, let's say, this current of thought in gaming as a whole, which I really don't like, and that's why I need to point it out. It's also interestingly related to all those, you know, cognitive biases and all those talks. So there's this idea that you can kind of, you know, trick people into, you know, paying more, playing more, etc. So it's a very bad mindset, you know. In my opinion and my experience, it's a very bad mindset. So every gaming studio should strive towards providing the best experience, the best entertainment, and respecting their players. And I've often seen, you know, gaming studios trying to do this, you know, parlor trick moments, you know, to get kind of a bit more money, and it works a bit, but then basically this mindset gets you stuck into never going, you know, beyond the current level at which you are. You're never gonna create something that's, you know, like truly fun, engaging, that pulls in more people. So I prefer for data to be used to improve the product for players, and not because, you know, let's be honest, like data science is amazing, but it can also lead us to some weird dystopia where, you know, like cameras track you everywhere, and you know, the stuff that started happening in China, for instance. So so, you know, like data science can basically destroy this world, but then it can improve it immensely. And I'm on this side, you know, with the white hat. I would prefer it to be used to improve stuff, even games.
Okay. Thank you for this. This wasn't a scripted question, so thank you for answering.
Nothing was scripted, really.
Yeah, that's right. And the thing is, why? The second round is, why does a company fail to utilize analytics fully in their business? Like I said, this is the second part I would like to talk in this panel. And like I said, Nikola, you have fairly recently become, like you said, managing director of Wargaming. And what is your feeling toward openness to cross-industry cooperation in terms of thinking about cooperation with some of the non-gaming companies with relevant experience who may solve the issue of analytics? Like, is that something that you think that the gaming industry is open to? Because I don't know. What is your opinion?
Well, it's, I mean, like, why we are failing in applying solutions that actually could help us, you know, like the reasons are, like, why not? I mean, like, for many reasons you can fail. I mean, you can do things wrong and fail. You can actually do everything right, and just, you know, universe was not on your side. So, you know, I would like to see someone who actually has 100% success in all his projects. So, but, you know, like, about openness of the like, at least companies that I work for, to collaborate with others, you know, like, starting from the not starting, but being before in the companies that actually were providing services for others, and, you know, being on that side of the you know, like, team, and right now being on the side where actually you are main, you know, consumer of the data, and actually you should get all the benefits out of it. I have to say, me personally, I'm pretty open to actually bring on the experts, because, you know, building expertise is really, really hard thing to do. You know, doing everything in scratch, and doing you know, putting up the right team, bringing people who will make other people better. You know, not making mistakes. At the end, it costs you more, and like you spend more time and like then expertise and cutting edge things kick in, and you cannot be sure that you are there. So basically I'm personally all in for that. The main thing, the main obstacles I would anticipate is, like, of course, I mean, like, I think we are all aware that actually I'm recently in the gaming, but I was gamers for some time in the past, and I see that actually gaming community is kind of closed. Once you enter it, you don't try to exit it, and it's really hard to kick in. I mean, I can kick in as managing things. Like I forgot when was the last time I put a line of code together. But to switch from like some other industry, it's not that easy, and this closeness of the gaming is kind of challenge. And the second challenge is like, especially in these models where data is your essence of your business, and like main contributor of your income and your budgeting, companies are afraid that actually they will expose more than they should have, and that's I believe main stopper. I mean, although I can confirm that actually, like both at the Grid Dynamics time, we had really good cooperations with the gaming companies, well-known ones, and as someone who is in wargaming right now, I can confirm that actually, whenever we need some, niche expertise and some powerful, supplement to our team, we actually look for the companies which can provide it out of the box.
Yeah, but basically, like you said, and I think that's an important thing to stress out. And especially one of the reasons why we are building these co-located events, like this kind of a problem that gaming industry is facing. That's not only for gaming. Every industry, especially you can think about banking industry, for example. They are also very sensitive to the data like they are sharing. So it's also very, very hard to include. Sometimes the process of including can last for 3 to 6 months just to get regulation. That's something that I think that the gaming is still not facing. I think it's still the problem with gaming is a little bit more about competitiveness. Like there is a lot of people making games, so basically that competitiveness is some kind of bureaucracy, red tape that is happening. But Marko, I think this is the perfect intro for my next question to you is. And let's cut to the chase and ask directly, what do you think are the main reasons why gaming companies don't utilize analytics? And after that, how can we overcome these obstacles?
Well, let's pick two, because there are many. This one is really huge. Like gaming is really close. There's not enough knowledge sharing, really. Like not only on the level of data. Of course, you don't want to share your data, but even why not in some cases. But like I've been on conferences where people talk about what they did, and basically you usually hear about the results on these conferences, and you don't hear anything else that enables you to replicate something like that. And it can be super funny, because there was enough hints. For instance, in one presentation, I figured out what kind of algorithm this guy used, and then I said it in a conversation later in coffee break. And he was like pale at one, but it was like, it was basically a very trivial thing, and still he was very clingy to this model. That's something that was like, let's say, 5 years ago. Things have been defrosting since then, but still it's like just many islands, every studio is more or less for itself. What usually happens is that, when you have some hubs, and hopefully Belgrade will soon be one of those hubs as well, but when you have some hubs like in Helsinki, people unofficially share a lot, and that's like a great benefit for all of them. really. So that's like one side of it. Basically, most studios need to reinvent the wheel. That's the biggest issue. You always more or less start from zero. You always reinvent the wheel. And the other thing I want to point is to pick. So here's a very technical example that kind of boils into this reinventing the wheel. So one of the problems is that game studios make games. They don't do analytics. That's not their job. And analytics and data collection and all of that is basically always an afterthought. It's always an afterthought. And it kind of makes sense because, you want to make your game first. You don't want to invest too much into, building perfect code and then trying out something in production that will fail, and then you built it in, 2 years instead of 3 months if you just cut some corners. And then one of those corners is analytics, So usually what happens is that proper data collection and all of that comes after the game has proven that it will actually survive on this very competitive market. And then, even then, it's like an afterthought, and basically, just the problems keep rolling after that. And there's like two big issues there. So one of the issues is obviously all of this because of the timing when it happens. Another issue is which is very interesting to me is how developers actually work. Okay. So developers are taught, hopefully, how to log stuff and use it to debug what they write, etc. And like all the schools teach you this way of thinking, how to structure your code, object oriented, whatnot, and how to encapsulate some things, etc. And then I might ask something to be tracked in an event, and it's not possible without huge refactor of the code, because
so legacy issues.
Yes, legacy issues, but it's really interesting how these issues always happen because of the way how developers are thought to structure their code. So it's a topic for itself. But I feel like all the computer science schools and all that teach developers one paradigm of building software, and now we live kind of in another age where data is as important as software itself, and can be used. You can close that loop, and I don't feel that all the developers are adequately prepared for that. So there's something missing there, And then even if you come to this point where everything can be done, you need to track events, like some basic things, like how are we going to what are we going to track? How are we going to track data? What's important? What's not important, etc. Like there's not much of it in on the internets on that topic, and again it's like the first thing you need to do, and here you're reinventing the wheel, So it's like that at basically every step of the journey.
Okay, it's very interesting you said, and I remember we talked once, and you said to me a very good definition that you have like coders, programmers, and engineers, and I think that one of the things that maybe you're referring also that sometimes there is a mismatch between what you need and what you get. Like not only like in terms you need someone who think more, but sometimes somebody who is doing like as an engineer job, for that job coder will be more than enough. But regarding that, I think that you have you have started one of the things and you said, okay, there is a problem, but there is also there's some tools I think that can help, of course. And my question to you as well, just as a follow-up of this one, is what is the role of the tools for organization to become? What is the role of tools for organization to become analytics driven? Is there only a role of tools to give insights and observation, or also to change the culture of the company who is going to use that tool?
Well, ideally, software should replicate something from real life in terms of organization, and then kind of facilitate that. I haven't seen any tools, especially in gaming, that actually help strengthen this culture. So that's really missing. Most of the tools, do just what you said. They kind of help you get to the insights faster, but it's something that people do, and you kind of need to organize the culture around that. If the tool set is good enough, usually best studios, I'm pretty sure that's how it is in wargaming. You have your own data platform, your own set of tools. So this is this thing I mentioned. So it's really hard for small gaming studios to basically do everything good at once. So you need to have really good game, and then using this money build everything else that you need. So the successful gaming studios reach a point where they can invest a lot in this internal tools, and then through that facilitate some type of processes, internal culture, etc. And when all of that is in place, yes, it can influence culture immensely. And the biggest thing it can do is basically democratize data. So everyone can, look, and then have some people in the company who are basically internal consultants, and then they come, others come to them and they're like, oh, I see something in data, very interesting, what do you think about this? And when that starts happening, you're on a good track to having good data culture. You're still on good track. You're still not, all the way there. But basically, doing data science, analytics, whatever you want to put it, well, means in an organization means that you successfully brought in completely new perspective, not just insights, but you brought new perspective to everyone, and everyone can at least partially put themselves in this perspective and have meaningful conversations from that angle. And that's the most amazing thing that can happen in an org.
Okay, this is very interesting, and this is also it is one thing I think that is very important to say, and that is what is the Nikola, this is for you, of course. What is the role of leadership in implementing new technologies? And maybe if you can give us your perspective, what is the bigger issue, the culture or the legacy?
Well, the role of management to find the money and not distract too much the guys who need to implement it. But in short,
ideally,
in short, yeah, it doesn't go all the way there. But first, let me just give me one sentence about what Marko was talking about. And as an intro for this, when you do the games, I was in the gaming. I joined the gaming recently, but the first thing that actually I had to notice is, passion all around. And when you do things with, you cannot produce. When we're talking about, users as the main investors, it's like okay, it's how to utilize the income and everything. But you need to create a good game, and you cannot do it without being passionate about it. And when you do things passionately, you don't think about tomorrow. You think about now and having great things. It's really interesting to me. Wargaming celebrates 25 years soon. It's really incredible how the guys who established it, how passionate they are about, current products, future products, the game that they created like 25 years ago and stuff like that. Like my first task at the work was to install some game that was produced by Wargaming 25 years ago and to, win against some AI computer, some something. So
That was the test for the being a director, or?
yeah, that was first task for me by Victor. So
Is he smarter than AI? Let's test.
yeah. So basically, it took me some time to win, but I won it. but the thing is, when you do that, then you start building other blocks, and then at some point you say, oh, I need to think about, analytics and everything, and that's when it comes too late. There is a lot of legacy, there is a lot of things that you need to reshuffle in order to get things done right, and then it becomes pretty expensive. You guys are not that affordable, you're way more expensive than some regular developers. So it comes with the budgeting and everything and the planning of priorities. So it's kind of when it will come on the line. But speaking about legacy versus culture, I would say there is a lot of companies that believe that actually their culture is innovation oriented, ready to do data, ready to collect data, to treat it properly, to take out of it something. But all these things actually at some point hit the wall of past habits and legacy all around the place. So basically, from company's perspective, it's quite difficult to involve new tools. You have this old habits to fight against, and it's it doesn't really matter if you are invoking new software for absences or new source control or new tooling that will actually enable you to scale up your company. The resistance is always there. So I would say actually it's not about culture that much as legacy it is. And when it comes to what management should do, well, I believe actually it's easy to be manager when you're giving away bonuses and chocolates and whatever. The real managers and real management and power of management comes when you have to do something that not everyone anticipates as a right way to do, and when you see some resistance, actually at that point you actually most likely need to figure out what is the right way for your company, build up the team, give them power to implement, and just to support them in the hard times. Pretty much easy, but
I have one good joke about what does is legacy. Legacy is one good engineers is saying, "I told you so."
yeah, yeah.
So basically, I just wanted to, and we tackled this point a few times. That's firepower, basically, and how important are the people in analytical departments for utilization. So I will a little bit switch. So Marko, being previously team leader and now head of data and AI, what is the process of finding new people in analytical departments in gaming, and what are the expectations of the people applying for this position? So basically, we are not talking about like ML, AI, building new worlds regarding that, but for purely analytical position inside of the gaming companies. What is your opinion about that and your thoughts?
Well, we can talk about data science as well, because that's maybe even more interesting topic.
Feel free to expand.
Yes. So in Serbia, I feel it's actually easier in some way, because when I talk to people, I don't know, who are from, let's say, London or San Francisco, etc. Like in London, all the best people are taken by these huge investment banks at companies like that, and then only people who are basically super passionate about gaming go into gaming. Even if you're passionate about gaming, it might not be enough because these other guys pay much better, you know. So yes, it's just like that. So here, coincidentally, gaming actually grew a lot compared to the rest of the market. So we're interesting, you know, for people who were seeking job. So that's cool. On the other side, you know, like everything is still young here. So like data science and consequently analytics is kind of young. There's mostly, you know, young people in this going into their, you know, first or second job or something like that. Well, I had my second job like last year, but you know what I mean. So yes, so that's obviously an issue in the industry where, as Nikola said, you want to get expertise as soon as possible. You know, there's not much of it, but there's not much of it going around in the whole world. So in a sense, it's not good, but it might even be better than you know, in job market outside Serbia. So that's one side. From the side of expectation, so you know, people who go into analytics, like I don't know, business analyst, something like that. There's like one level of misunderstanding between employers and future employees. So, you know, some people expect this is purely something they're going to do in Excel and that's it. So you usually want someone who's a bit more technically skilled because games produce a lot of data. And then on the level of data science, it's maybe even more interesting because discrepancy is even bigger. And this is like a huge PV of mine anyway, because most people go into data science because of machine learning, and that's it. And then most of people who apply for data science job in gaming, they want to do some machine learning, and there's really not that much, you know, room for machine learning in gaming. There's like limited set of opportunities there. So what we're usually looking for from data scientists is some breadth more than, you know, like some machine learning specialization. And usually people go into data science through some machine learning courses, etc., and then they you know, they can't answer some basic questions about, you know, statistics, and you know, they don't understand it, which is actually a huge problem even if they just do machine learning, because you know, if you can't understand the data yourself, then you're just a guy who's, you know, feeding something into a black box, hoping for the best result, and that has obviously its limits in how much successful it can be.
Okay, Nikola, I would just like, from your high-level perspective, I would just like to ask you, what do you think can be the biggest benefits of choosing gaming instead of other industries? What is your thinking about what Marko just said? Reflect.
Well, as I said, like you know, like there are a lot of game enthusiasts, and you know, like being able to work somewhere where you are like really passionate about actually makes a difference. And of course you cannot trade all the things around just for doing things that you love, but at some point maybe you can afford it, maybe you can do it. I mean, I'm not saying that actually in the gaming, you know, like things are like in any other way worse than elsewhere. Just this, you know, doing something that you actually enjoy using, and having this incentive that you don't have to explain you know, I'm doing this and that. You just, you know, name the game that you produce, and you know, like it can speak for itself. Actually, that's something really powerful. I mean, like I remember when, you know, like I was like really almost never on the labor market at all. And when I got in touch with Wargaming, I was, you know, like not planning to change anything. I had like long-term plans with Grid Dynamics, and you know, they said like, you know, like we are like the guys who produced, you know, World of Tanks and stuff. I said like, wow. I was playing that, you know, like for still remember when I installed it, and you know, like development of the tanks I was used. So it's like, you know, like ability to actually be part of the team that actually will shape it a bit for future. Will, you know, that maybe at some point you will say something smart that actually the guys say, yeah, that's how we wanna do it. Is actually that actually turned me to when I was on the edge what to do. So basically that kind of incentive, and you know, like being surrounded with the guys, you know, with so much passion actually is inspiring, and you know makes like you know, like this going to work way more easier than, you know, like you feel like you're in high school again, and you know, going to hang around with your fellows, you know, like, you know, every second day, every other day. So basically that's something that actually, you know, my first feeling is about.
Okay, and for the closing round, I wanted to just to give some little bit different impression, but still in the gaming. So basically, Nikola, what game is not being not only World of Tanks? What game would you recommend to our attendees? Beside World of
Guys, I'm really old, so I'm gonna tell you that actually I still play Warcraft 3 with a couple of my friends, 2-on-2. We still, you know, get together, you know, and these guys are, you know, like really serious guys, executives. One guy is like inspector for nuclear plants, and we get together like kids, and you know, like every day it's the same story. Guys, let's meet this time earlier. We don't want to end up at 5 a.m. this time again, and we meet up earlier and end up at 5, 6 every time. So basically, that's still my number one game. And you know, like of course, you know, like some Pro Evolution Soccer is, you know, like easy call. And I already told about tanks, so my top 3 is that.
Okay, Marko, and question for you: what is your favorite board game?
This is an interesting question. I have one, like the one I accidentally designed. So that's an easy pick. One day, maybe other people might play it. You know, I promised to my colleagues a play test soon. Let's see what they're gonna say. But yeah, I love board games. That's like game design basics, you know, like game design 101.
Okay, thank you, Marko. Thank you, Nikola. With this question, we are finishing this first panel, and we can continue with the program. So thank you so much. And Philip, you're next.
Thank you for organizing.
Thanks, guys.